everybody, it's Yoko Mo Bettas back with another video, and today we are back with another author spotlight. The book that is featured today is Concrete Situations by Crystal Darks. Before we get into the video, if you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button right now, and don't forget to also hit that little bell button so you'll always be notified every time I upload. If you like Crystal Darks books, she can be reached on Facebook in her reading group called Author Crystal Darks Reading Club. She also has Instagram, and it's Dark Crystals Inc. 82. Don't forget to subscribe to Crystal Darks YouTube channel at Crystal Darks. And if you really enjoy Concrete Situations, you can find it on Amazon. Alright you guys, let's get into the book. So I'm going to read the back of the book. Young, beautiful Paris has the lifestyle most women would kill for. She's rich, beautiful, and married to a very powerful man, but things aren't as happy as they seem from the outside looking in. And when her husband, a well-known drug lord, is busted for his crimes and sent to prison, Paris is left alone to raise their children by herself. Soon, the skeletons of her husband's misdeeds come out of the closet, and she becomes entangled in not only his, but his whole family's dark and strange history. Will she keep it together, or will she hit a brick wall in these concrete situations? This book takes place in Houston, Texas, and Paris Scott Frost is the main character of this book. And Paris's whole world comes crumbling down after her mother dies from a drug overdose, and her little sister is taken away from her. At this time, I believe Paris is about 18, and you know, at 18, like, you swear you grown, but like, that is a very fragile age. You're really learning yourself. You're not a little kid anymore, but you're also not an adult. When Paris's mom passes away, it's like, damn, she's kind of like shoved into adulthood, but I feel like she really wasn't ready. Paris's little sister name is London, and like I said, she was taken away from Paris after their mom died. Paris and London don't have the same fathers, so London's estranged father, London's estranged father's sister, which would be London's aunt, comes to get her. Paris's father was never in her life, and Paris's mother was pregnant with her. He kind of like abandoned them the day that she was born. While reading this book, I felt like the reason why Paris kind of got into the situation that she's in is because of the absence of her father, because she never had a real father figure in her life. That's why I believe she chose to be with the man that she was with. So after Paris' little sister leaves, you know, she's so distraught. Paris does have sort of a mother figure in her life. Her name is Miss Kathy, and she also has a best friend named Kaylisha. If I'm pronouncing her name correctly, I believe it's Kaylisha, and they kind of hold Paris down. You know, they're like the glue that keeps Paris together. Like I said, Miss Kathy is like a mother figure to her, and she was also friends with Paris's mother. Kaylisha is her best friend. You know, she keeps her grounded. She always, you know, is there in her corner. So Paris meets this guy named Bradley, and I believe him and his family own an auto shop. I think it's an auto shop, and they kind of like fall madly in love with each other very fast. Paris kind of like fell head over heels for him, and Miss Kathy is like, listen girl, I don't know about this guy's family. He seems a little shady or whatever. I just want you to watch your back and be careful. Of course, Paris is not trying to hear that, because when you're, you know, when you're in love, you're definitely blinded by it. And I feel like Paris was blinded by love. She finally had somebody that she felt that really loved her, was going to take care of her. Like I said, she didn't have a father figure in her life, so I felt like Bradley kind of filled that void for her, you know what I mean? And a lot of women sometimes go through that when they don't have father figure. Any male that gives them some kind of attention or whatever, they kind of just lose their mind when it comes to them. So I feel like Paris was doing that with Bradley, and Miss Kathy warned her, and she didn't listen. She married him anyway. So now, like I said, 3 years later, they're married, and she's a part of the family. So she's officially a Frost. Bradley has a shady past. Miss Kathy was right. Bradley and his father Bradshaw, both their names are B's. It's a lot of B names in this book, and you're gonna see. And I really thought it was so cute that you did that, Crystal. But it's kind of confusing a little bit, because I'm like, okay, Bradley is the son, Bradshaw is the dad, and I kind of get them mixed up sometimes, so hopefully I don't get it mixed up in this video, but just bear with me. They are drug dealers, of course, drug lords, and of course they're running drugs, and Paris is oblivious to this. For 3 years she kind of, you know, didn't ask many questions about Bradshaw's life, I feel like, or she did ask the questions, and not Bradshaw, Bradley. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? I feel like she didn't ask Bradley enough about his life and stuff like that. And if she did ask him, he kind of like brushed it off or told her to mind her business. He was not a very good husband to her. He was very rude. He was a narcissist. He was manipulative. He was
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I cannot say it, but he was a manipulator. He just took advantage of her. He knew that she really didn't have anybody in her life like that. So he knew that if she wanted to leave him, she would have nowhere to really go. She would always come back to him. And he definitely used that to his advantage to bring her down. He was beating on her, all type of stuff, and just doing fuck nigga shit. Fuck nigga shit that dumbass niggas do. So yes, Bradshaw and Bradley are definitely running a drug business, and Paris is oblivious. Now, Paris has a very good relationship with Bradley's mother, Gloria Frost. You know, she's just a very nice mom, you know, very caring. Usually mothers-in-laws are kind of, you know, iffy a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them are. And I thought in this book, since they were kind of, you know, rich and a little high sedity, I thought that she would, you know, be a bitch to her. But she really wasn't. But Bradshaw, on the other hand, was so rude and nasty and disrespectful to Paris. Like, I don't know what it was. Well, I found out later on in the book, but he just could not stand Paris or whatever. And at first I was like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, usually father-in-laws, they like their daughter-in-laws. It's usually the mother-in-laws that don't like the daughter-in-laws. And yeah, when I was reading, I was kind of confused. Like, what the fuck is his problem? Like, he was just always talking disrespectfully to Paris, in front of her face, and also in front of her husband Bradley. And Bradley wouldn't check it. Like, it was one time in the book Bradley checked his father about disrespecting her, but I'm like, damn, it took it getting kind of out of hand for you to even say anything to your father. Now, you don't have to disrespect your dad or nothing like that, but it's like, damn, like, you know, dad, like, this is my wife. Like, you don't have to talk to her like that. You can say that a different type of way. She's also a lady. You're a man. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. So yeah, the father, like, he was weird. So moving forward, Bradshaw has a 50th birthday party. His family and his son is there. His wife, Paris, is there with her kids, which is Bradshaw's grandchildren. And, you know, they're having a pretty good time. So everybody's at the party mingling, you know, whatever. And this mystery guy walks in, and it's like Bradshaw and Bradley saw a ghost. And Miss Gloria walks up and she sees him, and she's like so excited to see this guy. And she grabs him and she hugs him very tight and like, oh Lord, like, you know, God, you brought my baby home. And the guy like looks at her and he's like, yeah, Ma, I'm home. So this happens to be the other son of Gloria and Bradshaw. His name is Bryce, but Bryce is not happy to see Bradshaw and Bradley. Like, he has anger in his eyes, malice, and Bradley at first was like speechless to see him, but then, you know, he kind of nervously like says, hey bro, you know, welcome home. And Bryce doesn't say anything to him. He just looks at him while he's still holding their mom or whatever. Bradshaw finally opens his mouth and says, you know, welcome home, son. And he tried to touch him, and Bryce is like, get off me, don't touch me, like, get off me. He's like, I didn't come here for you. I came here to see my mom, and I came here to get the money that you owe me. So as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because it's like, all right, clearly this guy is coming from somewhere. Where has he been all this time? And why does he have smoke with his dad and kind of smoke with his brother? Like, what's going on? At this time, all the guests are leaving. You know, they looking like, you know, this is kind of weird. What's going on? They trying to get up out of there. Bradley whispers into Paris's ear, like, you know, don't worry about this, but that's my brother Bryce. I want you to pack up the kids. Let's go, or whatever. So as Paris goes upstairs and gets the kids ready with Miss Mary, BJ, who's 3, and Brielle, who's 4 months, Paris and Miss Mary, they hurry outside and get in the car and wait for Bradley. She could hear from inside the house that the guys are arguing. You could hear Mrs. Frost screaming, telling them not to argue. And finally, Bradshaw like storms out of the house and gets in the car. So as he's driving, Paris is like, you know, she want to know what's going on because she didn't even know that he had a brother. So she's asking him like, yo, why didn't you tell me that you had a brother? And Bradley is so freaking upset. He's kind of ignoring her. So she asks him again. She's like, yo, we've been married for 3 years. Why didn't I know that you had a brother? And he's just like, Paris, shut up and stay out of my family's business. Now, skirt, what the hell is his problem? And it's like, I don't understand. Like, why is it such a big secret to know about you having a brother. Like, why can't I ask you, like, why are you hiding having a brother? And you know, it's a little fishy. So Paris is like, you know, I hate when he acts like this or whatever. Like, he's always trying to keep things so private. Like, you know, if we're married, there's no secrets between us. So of course Paris is upset because Bradley just won't tell her what's going on, and she decides to stop pressing the issue, but she gets irritated, and you know, she's being petty, and she's like, you know, popping her lips or whatever. And that's something that Bradley hates that she does. So of course, since she's mad at him or whatever and he's not giving her no answers, she keeps doing it. And after she did it for like the second time, he punches the shit out of her, like, and told her like, yo, I'm not gonna tell you again to stay out of my family's business. And I'm like I said, whoa, where's all this animosity coming from? Like, bro, it's not that deep. Now rewind to when Paris and Bradley got married. Paris and him is like, you know, celebrating their honeymoon, take a nice shower together, and Bradley's phone is ringing off the hook. It's 2 rings, then the person stops calling, then 2 rings again, then they stop calling. So Paris notices it, and it caught her interest. So she picks up the phone and she hears this woman like screaming and crying on the phone, and the girl is like, who is this? And Paris is like, you're calling my husband's phone, who's this? And the girl gets buck on Paris like, look bitch, I don't got time for this. This is Bradley's baby mama, and I'm in labor right now, and he needs to come down to the hospital because I'm about to have this baby. And Paris is taken aback like, wait a minute, baby mama?
That's weird.
And yeah, the girl's like, look wifey. So clearly the girl knows who Paris is, but Paris don't know who she is. She's like, yeah, I don't got time for this. Tell Bradley that this baby is coming and he needs to get his ass down here. And she hangs up on Paris. Paris rushes in to the bathroom and she's hollering and screaming and cursing Bradley out like, oh, some woman just called your phone talking about you're her baby's father and that the baby is coming. And Bradley, of course, is acting oblivious like niggas do, and it's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And Paris is not trying to hear that shit, and she's going off on him, and she throws something at him, and he loses it, and he grabs her up by her neck and is like, don't you ever throw no shit at me like that. And he's like, and at this time Paris is pregnant with their first child, BJ. Forgot to mention that. And he's ragging her around and stuff like that. And she's like, you know, Bradshaw, stop. Not Bradshaw, Bradley. Told you guys I was gonna do that. Bradley is like ragging her around and shit like that. She's like, stop, you gonna hurt the baby, and you know, just going off on her. So he finally stops and he tells her like, I don't know who that is. No, he tells her like, oh, that girl is lying. She's just jealous that I'm with you and that we're together and we're married. I don't got no baby by her. Don't believe her, Paris. You know, I'll never lie to you. Blah 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 blah. The nigga was lying. He was lying. In that moment, Paris wants to believe him, but she knows that he's lying, and she's just like, you know, even if I decide to leave him, where am I gonna go? I'm 3 months pregnant. I don't have anywhere to go. So she stays with him, of course, and you know, over the years they had their ups and downs and stuff like that, and they wind up having another baby, Brielle, who I was saying at the party she's 4 months, but during this time she wasn't born yet, clearly. But anyways, she stays with him, and that ass whooping that he gave her then when she brought up the baby mama thing should have been foreshadowing of him continuously putting his hands on her in the future, just like he did in the car when the whole brother situation came up. And it's like, Paris, I wish like she had Miss Kathy and she had Kaylisha, so I don't understand why she kept saying like, you know, she really didn't have anybody like in her corner. And once again, I believe it's because she didn't have a father figure in her life, so she just really like was set on staying with Bradley and, you know, going through the motions with him. And I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. So now we're in the present time again, and Bryce shows up to Bradley and Paris's house, and this is after Bradley beat her up the night before after leaving Bradshaw's birthday party. And when Bryce comes up, he sees like the bruises and stuff on Paris's face, and he's like, yo, what happened to you? And she's like, oh, I fell down the steps. And Bryce is looking at her and then looking at Bradley like, yeah, yo, Bryce, remember when mom used to magically fall down the steps too? Trying to say like their father used to beat on their mother. So he sees the signs between Bradley and Paris that clearly Bradley is abusing her or whatever. So Bradley clearly gets upset and he's just like, yo, like, you need to leave my house. And Bryce is like, I'm not leaving until y'all give me what y'all owe me. Bradley is like, you need to talk to dad about the agreement that y'all have. I have nothing to do with it. Bryce is like, no, me and dad never had no agreement. He's like, y'all both got me caught up in the mess that y'all was doing or whatever, and I spent 4 years in prison because of y'all. So I'm like, okay, like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, why did Bryce spend 4 years in jail because of Bradley and Bradshaw? Like, what kind of funny business is going on right here? And Bradley is kind of like being aggressive with Bryce or whatever, but Bryce is not moved by it. Like, he spent 4 years in prison and he's like, you and dad are just the same. Y'all all bark and no bite, but y'all be quick to raise a hand at a woman. Like, y'all basically some bitches for real. Now, Miss Kathy works at the children's hospital and she tells Paris the night before this lady comes in with her son and he had been jumping up the stairs and he busted his head open basically and he needed stitches. And this lady, she's crying hysterically and she's sitting with this man and he's consoling her. And Miss Kathy looks at this man and she recognizes him. Tell me why it was Bradley. Paris is trying not to react, so she asks Miss Kathy like, okay, well, how old was the boy? And Miss Kathy is like, well, he's about a little older than your son, and his last name is Frost, just like Bradley. But that's not all of Bradley's skeletons. So fast forward, Bradley's and Bradshaw's houses get raided. The police come in and they arrest them. So fast forward, Bryce comes back to the house and he's demanding to see Bradley again, but Bradley is not there. Paris is telling Bryce to leave, don't come by here anymore. And Bryce is like, I'm not leaving until I talk to Bradley again. And she kind of takes her frustration of everything that's happening with Bradley out on Bryce. She's screaming and hollering at him, telling him to leave, and he's just like, yo, this girl is crazy, she's losing it. He knows that Bradley is beating on her and he sees how distraught she is and how much it's bothering her and breaking her up inside. After Paris and Bryce go at it, he kind of like pushes her off and tells her like, yo, go call your husband and tell him I'm not leaving until you come. So she does that and Bradley comes to the house, guns drawn, is ready to like basically kill Bryce, and he's telling him, you need to leave my house. And Bryce is like, listen, I don't care about none of that. You either put the gun down and fight me like a man or kill me. Bryce tells Bradley like, you know, this ain't over. You and your dad owe me money and I'm not gonna stop until y'all give me my money. He finally leaves. 2 months later, Paris finds out that she's pregnant again, which could be the worst thing right now. They do not need to bring another baby into this fuckery that they call a relationship. Paris, you already found out 3 years ago that Bradley basically had another family, and then Miss Kathy confirming it again. It's like, damn, you get pregnant by this guy again, and then this whole thing with his brother that's going on, and you don't even know what's happening. A baby is the last thing we need to bring into this situation for real, especially since Bradley and Bradshaw's houses get raided and the police take them down because during the raid, Paris is so upset and screaming and hollering when they're taking Bradley away. Not only is she upset because they're taking him away, but it's like, what is she gonna do without Bradley? That's why I really think she was really upset, and she was so upset to the point she passes out and she loses the baby. Bradley and Bradshaw are in jail now, and this is when shit really hits the fan. Like, all the skeletons really start coming out when Bradshaw and Bradley get locked up. Miss Gloria was also kind of going off too when they took Bradshaw away, and reading this at this point, I'm like, damn, Paris cannot get a break. Like, the last 3 years of her life have really been a shit show. Even though she thought like the best part of her life was meeting Bradley, but very fast she learned that it wasn't. It's like, okay, her mom died, then her sister was taken away, then she met Bradley, then she got pregnant, then she got married, then she finds out that he's cheating on her. Not only is he cheating on her, he has a whole nother baby by this woman. Then she finds out about the long lost estranged brother. The baby mama comes up again. Then Bradley and Bradshaw get arrested. Then she loses the baby. It's just a whole whole bunch of shit. It's like, how much can this girl take? And she's only like 21 years old, 22 years old, because when her mom died, I think she was about 18. And it's like, damn, in 3 years, it's like she's been through hell and back and hell again, literally. Now, a lot of the twists and turns come around this time because Bryce reveals to Paris that he is not the biological son of Mr. Frost. He just wears his last name because of his mother's wrongdoing. So, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Miss Bryce has an affair with this guy named Johnny Lopez. She was really in love with him, and he was a business partner of Bradshaw's. Now, Bradley is just like his father because his father basically had a woman on the side named Karina. Keep that in mind. Karina and him had a daughter together, and Karina already had an older daughter. Mrs. Frost, Gloria, found out about the affair that Bradley was having with the lady Karina, so she decided to have her own little thing on the side with Johnny Lopez, and it just happened to be his business partner. Bradshaw finds out about the affair that Gloria and Johnny Lopez are having together. Now, Johnny Lopez winds up being the biological father of Bryce. But the only reason why he's not in Bryce's life is because Bradshaw kills him. He gonna kill Johnny Lopez for having an affair with his wife, but he over here having a whole affair too, got a whole secret life. So it's like, oh, it's like a double standard, like, oh, I can fuck around on you, but you can't fuck around on me. And he probably gonna say, well, that was my business partner and you overstepped your boundaries. Okay, yeah, maybe she shouldn't have fucked around with your business partner, but you fucking around with another person and you got a baby together, that's crazy. So when Gloria finds out that Bradshaw kills Johnny Lopez, she decides to poison Karina. Now keep that in mind. Now, I told you Karina was dealing with Bradshaw, and come to find out, Karina is Paris's mother that overdosed. But here's the, this not even the icing yet, because there's a lot happening. The whole time, Paris is thinking that her mother overdosed on drugs. Gloria poisoned her. So all this is coming up. All these skeletons are falling out of everybody's closets or whatever, right? Now, as Bryce is telling Paris about him not being Bradshaw's biological son, he's just like, you know, he sees Paris for who she is. She's just a trophy wife, and he compares her to his own mother. He's like, my mother and you are just the same. Basically, I feel like Paris is Miss Gloria, like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. And they're like wives that are to be seen and not heard from or whatever. They're trophy wives. They're there to look good and not speak. They don't know anything about their husband's business dealings. They don't know about the drug business. They were just oblivious to everything. And I feel like they were oblivious. I don't know if it was willingly, but their husbands were blinding them with the glitz and the glam and buying them all type of bags and shoes and stuff like that, but they were treating them like shit. But it's the men are thinking like, oh well, if I keep you dressed nice and you living good, don't ask me about what I'm doing, stay out of my business. And it's like, those are a lot of red flags. But I mean, they're not even red flags anymore. Like, the flags are inflamed, they're burning. Okay, girl, run. Like, I don't get it. While Bradley is in jail, Bryce and Paris kind of get closer. It's kind of awkward at first because this is Bradley's brother, but they kind of fall for each other and they wind up doing a zoo. But then Paris feels guilty because it's like, my husband is in jail and he's facing a lot of time and I'm out here like screwing his brother. But then again, I feel like, Paris, you don't need to feel bad because the man is living a double life. He has a whole nother family. He's just like his father. You know the saying when they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree? That is Bryce and Bradley to a T. They are one and the same. Doing all this, Bradley decides to flip on his father and testify against him. Bradshaw wound up having a heart attack in jail, plus the motherfucker got cancer. You see? God don't like ugly. So I'm gonna stop the review right there because I really want you guys to read this book. There's so many other skeletons and things that have happened in this book. Like Paris thought her father was long gone and he comes back into her life and he has ties with Bradshaw. Like, the shit gets crazy. It's like a whole kind of love triangle. Not even a love triangle. It was like a love hexagon going on between Bradshaw, Gloria, Karina, Jamaican George. That happens to be Paris's dad, but he has dealings with Bradshaw, and it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. Paris and Bryce basically fall in love and build a whole life while Bradley is in jail. So it's a lot. I really enjoyed Crystal Dark's writing style. It was easy to read. It was a page turner. It's like once I found out that Bradley had a whole nother family, and then the whole background with Miss Gloria and Johnny Lopez and Paris's mother, it was like I was so swept up into the story. Like, I was telling my mom, like, oh my god, mom, let me tell you about this book, and like she's sitting there listening to me, like, for real. Like, it was a movie. The bullshit in the book just got worse and worse and worse over time. And like I said, it was like, how much could Paris take? And I feel so bad for this girl because she didn't ask for any of this. It's like, what did this girl do in her past life that God got her going through all this stuff? That's the questions that I was asking myself as I was reading the book. So I really enjoyed it. I love books that just sweep me up into their world and their universe, and I just indulge, basically. But I really enjoyed this book, Crystal Darks. Thank you so much for sending it to me. There also is a part 2 that I am currently reading, and girl, you thought the first book was crazy? Oh my goodness, so many things happen in this book as well. So I want you guys to go on Amazon and pick up Miss Crystal Dark's books. Also go on her Facebook page and her Instagram. All her information and things will be down in the description box. Okay, you guys, that is all for this video. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the author spotlights that I do, please give this video a big thumbs up. I really would appreciate it. If you guys want to be friends on social media, my social media is always down in the description. If you want to be featured in the author spotlight, just send me an email. My email is always down in the description box as well. Don't forget to watch my other spotlight videos. They will be linked down in the description box. Make sure y'all go follow Miss Crystal Darks. I'ma know if y'all followed her or not, because she gonna tell me, okay? So make sure y'all go follow her on Instagram and Facebook, and go grab her books on Amazon. All right, you guys, I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye.